Hi, it's Valerie from Shalebrook Handcrafted Soap in Moser River, Nova Scotia. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm doing a video on pine tar soap, and I've been looking at doing this for a while and just kept putting it off, and finally I decided I would do it. I had done quite a bit of research and trying to put a formula together, I will say, was tricky for me. Because of the pine tar being in the calculations, you don't have a lot to play with, and it really changes the numbers on there to try to get a harder bar. And for me personally, I would rather have a softer bar and have it be conditioning than a brick hard bar and have it itch my skin or dry my skin out. So that's what I worked around to try to get a formula for this. And I put a couple together. I've done two yesterday, and one I used 15% pine tar and one 13%, and this one I'm going to do 11%, and that goes in the calculations in your soap calc. So I also added in the 1 pound batches I did yesterday, I added a teaspoon of beeswax. I rarely use beeswax in my soaps, but this time I did just to up that hardness factor. And I used 5% sodium lactate, and I also used, I think it was 2% stearic acid in all the recipes that I'm using. You can add a teaspoon of salt if you like to the lye water. Make sure you dissolve it first before adding your lye. And so this one here today is going to be 11%. And I will put a formula on for this, how I did it as well. And the formula I'll put on for you is the one where I did 13% in case you want to use more. It was beautiful, wonderful lather, very creamy and felt really good. Pine tar, when using pine tar, you want to make sure that you get one that's 100% pine tar that is creosote free, or if you look and it says that it was processed in a closed kiln, that will be creosote free. And I'm not really, there's no need for me to tell you which kind I bought, because I'm not advocating any brand of pine tar except to tell you that you need 100% pine tar, and it needs to be, or it should be, creosote free, and or processed in a closed kiln. Pine tar does have quite a smell. Some people say it stinks really bad. It's not a great smell, but I've smelled worse. And I have added essential oils to mine, all my batches, where I thought actually in the beginning it was going to cover some of that scent or add to it or make the pine tar less volatile in a smell. But it looks like the pine tar is still there, which is a good thing. And I'm looking forward to how this soap is going to react to the skin. I do plan on making a shampoo bar too. I'm not going to do a video on that one. This one today is a body bar. I'll tell you what else I used in it. I used quite a big glob of, this is called Mulberry Silk Top Grade AAA. And an incredibly kind, generous, loving lady, Cheryl Stilzig from Epic Stargazer, gave me this. And I'm just gonna, I don't know if you can see that, but I'm just going to hold that up. It is really phenomenal. It is night and day to my Tussa Silk. I'm totally impressed with it, and it gives a nice sheen and shimmer and silky feel to the soap. The other thing I'm using in my soap is I'm using 5% superfat up front in soap calc, and I'm adding an extra 5% afterwards. That's totally up to you how you want to do that. I'm going to put the formula on. You can tweak it, work with it however you like. In this particular formula, I'm also using some cooked strained oatmeal. In the first batch I did, I used some ground powdery colloidal oatmeal, and I'm not a fan of scratchy soaps, and not that that soap was scratchy, but I'm just not, I don't normally do that unless people ask for it. So this time I've got the cooked oatmeal in here. I've got, this is a 2 pound batch, and I've got 2 teaspoons of Kaolin Clay in there. I've got all my oils in there. I've got my silk in my tea blend, and my tea blend consisted of, you'll see how dark that is? It's going to get darker. My tea blend consisted of Bladderwrack, which is a kelp, ground bladderwrack that we harvest ourselves, and Calendula, Plantago major, or Plantain, and what else do I have in there? Licorice root. When I was researching, I was looking for things that were really good for psoriasis and eczema. The other thing I'm adding to this 2-pound batch is 1.5 tablespoons of glycerin. Now, I did research on that as well, and I'm not sure why. I saw a couple people use it, and then I asked the question on some soaping groups. Most of them said they didn't use it, but in the last 2 batches I did at 1 tablespoon per pound. This I'm going to put 1.5 tablespoons, and I actually really like how that worked. I'm also adding oat milk, rice milk, jasmine rice milk, and coconut milk, and I'm using half of that milk, that's about 1.25 ounces I'm adding after the cook. So what I plan to do with this, let me see what else I'm doing. Oh yeah, super fat, I'm using hemp, argan, milk thistle, and emu oil. But you can use whatever you want and however you'd like to do it. So I have my pine tar actually heating it up because I'm doing mine hot process. I did all my batches hot process. And I'll just show you a quick picture of the ones I did yesterday. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see those or not. This one was the one with oatmeal, ground oatmeal. This one I didn't do oatmeal, and this one is 15%. This one was 13%. And anyway, just lovely. I'm really happy with those. So I just wanted to show you that before I start. And I'll show you what the hemp, the pine tar is really black. I have it heating up. I'm melting it because I can scoop it out easier. My husband's videotaping. Can you tip that down just a bit so I can show them that? Okay, good. So you can see how shiny that is, and it's very liquidy now. It's very hard when I took it out. And I'm going to scoop that into my heated oils. Stick blend it along with my milk, half my milk that I'm adding in the cook, and we'll go from there. I wanted to give that introduction because I think it's important you know beforehand that I'm not talking about everything that's going into my soaps. You can do that or not do that. That's totally up to you. You can not have any additions. So you can do it however you want and however you like. This is how I'm going to do mine from my last 2 batches. They look like they're going to harden up really, really good. In this batch I've got 2 teaspoons of beeswax, and I melted that with my oils. So really we're almost ready to go. I would tell you make sure you wear safety gear like glasses and gloves to protect yourself from lye spill. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shut that camera off, and I'm just going to get my lye ready because I'm adding hot lye. I'm doing a high temperature, hot process cook today. This is going to cook real fast. That was my experience yesterday. I'm hoping not as fast because I had a wicked mess yesterday. One of the worst I've ever had. It looked like a chocolate fondue where it just envelops that whole middle pot. That's what my crock pot looked like. And that's why you should always have a clean counter. You could scoop it out and put it in. That was cooked in I think 5 minutes, probably from the pine tar as well. I'm also adding honey and vitamin E to this, sugar, sodium lactate, I told you that. So I think we're pretty well good to go. And I'll bring you back when I go to, like I just said, I'm going to add that pine tar to my oils and stick blend it along with my milk. I'm going to get my lye ready. When I add my lye, I'm going to bring you back. I am going to stick blend. If you were doing cold process, you'd probably just want to do that at a real low temperature and stir it or whisk it because pine tar exhilarates real fast. Okay, so we're going to see you in just a few seconds. So all my things are in with my oils, half my milk, the cooked oatmeal, 2 teaspoons of Kaolin Clay, and the pine tar, that melted pine tar, warmed up pine tar is in there. And now I'm getting ready to add my lye. And the temperature on my oils are about 162 and my lye is about 187. So it's not as hot as I would like. I thought my crock pot was on warm and it actually was off, so it's back on warm now. And I'm just getting ready to strain my lye into here. I strain it because you never know. You want to make sure that there's no pieces that didn't get stirred up. Just a good habit. And where I can't see the bottom, I strain. If it was clear, you can see if there's any pieces and you don't have to strain. Totally up to you too. For me personally, I just like to be safe as I can be, I guess, for other people. And so basically what I'm going to do is just show you this from me stick blending it. You might be thinking, well, why are you using the pine tar? And there's tons of information on the internet about it, what it's good for, so I won't go into a lot of big speech on that, but it's good for psoriasis and eczema, dandruff, flaky skin, irritated skin, sensitive skin, all of those. Supposedly, and that's what I've read, you can check it out for yourself. The tea that I used and everything I'm adding is also supposed to be good for those things. So what I would say is go check out and do some research on it and see what you think. So I'm just going to get ready and I'm going to stick blend this up. And it's already getting solid in the bottom there. Probably because of the stearic acid and the beeswax as well. Now I'm just going to keep you on camera while I stick blend this. And then when that's done, I'll bring you back at different stages. But this is already thick, already starting to cook. Okay, so it's a bit better there now. Hot process, high temperature, even though that's not as high as I would like it, you constantly keep an eye on it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cover this over and I'll bring you back at the next stage. Hello, okay, so we're back. I just wanted to, no sooner did I shut that camera off and I was cleaning off the stick blender, and this started to volcano. So I just wanted to show you how quick, even though this wasn't on extremely high temps and it's just on warm, that this is volcanoing and rising and cooking. And it cooks extremely fast. So I just brought you back to show you that because it's important that you watch that. One thing that you can do to help with that is you can, if you're in the middle of it and it's starting to volcano big, once it gets to the top, if you can't stir it down, it is going to fly over. But you can manage it if you just give it a few quick sprays of fine mist. Okay, so just wanted to show you that, and I'll bring you back and let you know what time has elapsed to the next stage. Hi, welcome back. I'm just getting ready. It's been over 10 minutes. Actually, I get busy doing something else. And I'm just shutting that crock pot off because it was on warm. I'm trying to get away from one-time plastic, so I had a woman, Laura Elliott, give me some of these covers, and I keep those. They come off, I wash them, and use them again, so it's great. So now I'm getting ready to add my super fat and sugar and sodium lactate, and this has been setting in a frying pan with hot water in it on a burner that's on low. So I try when I'm doing hot process to always add things warmed or hot. So I also check the pH on this because I'm a firm believer you should always check your pH. How you check that is totally up to you. For this one here, I did do a tongue zap and a pH strip. I think if your soap batter is at least a 10, you're good to go. 10 actually is a great number for homemade soap. You might get it lower. pH of water is a 7, which is neutral, I believe. So, and I'm going to add this up and stir it really well. Unplug that. As you can see, it's really dark and stiff, but remember I saved half the milk to add. I'm going to add that as well. Not such a bad smell at all. And I am going to add some almond extract to this. Some pure almond extract and some frankincense essential oil, lime essential oil, and some myrrh, because that's really good for skin as well. So I'm stirring that in. I never add my yogurt heated up. It's always room temperature or out of the fridge. And make sure that you stir that up really good so it doesn't sit on the bottom of your crock. And it cooks, so you don't want that to cook, you just want it to mix throughout. And I'm going to wait about probably 3 minutes, and I'm going to add my coconut milk and my honey and vitamin E. I'm adding vitamin E oil to this as well. So I'll bring you back in 3 minutes. Okay, so we're back, and I'm just getting my stuff out of the hot water to add the rest of my things that I'm going to add. And what I have in here is my glycerin that I heated up. So I'm going to add this. And like I said, you don't have to add glycerin at all, because soap, actually a natural byproduct of soap is 7% glycerin. So I've read. So you don't have to use that. And let me see. I'm going to add my hot coconut milk and rice milk and oat milk. That's all mixed together. And like I said, I put half in the cook and I'm using half afterwards. So the other thing with adding milk, you want to make sure that you stir that up exceptionally well so it doesn't cook on the bottom if you still have your crock on. Now my crock isn't on, but you still want to scrape that up off the bottom of the crock. And I know a lot of you do that. This is for instructions that I may give would be for new soapers. So you can see how loose that is right now. And then I'm going to add this honey. And that temperature on that soap is about 165, because I don't want to lose the properties of that. And that vitamin E is in there as well. And vitamin E is just good for skin. And I'm also going to add my essential oils and the myrrh in here. And that's the pure almond extract. I used 1 ounce of that. Not that I expect that to come through at all with pine tar. but that'll help to have a real smooth batter. So I'm going to stir that all up really well. And then I'm going to cover it over and leave it for about 3 minutes, and then I'm going to bring you back. I plan on putting this into my oval silicone molds. I have that silicone mold in my oven at 170 Fahrenheit. It helps to give a smoother finish. And then what I'll do is I'll let them set till they're hard. I'll put them in the fridge for about an hour and I'll pop them out. So my plan is to show you how I pour these, and I'm going to show you the lather from these, and I'll show you the finished product as well. So thank you, and I'm just going to shut the camera off, and I'll come back in 3 minutes. Hey, so we're back, and I'm getting ready to put my soap batter into my heated silicone molds. This is the mold. It was in the 170 Fahrenheit oven. And I had this ladle in there. It probably, if I wasn't doing this video, I would try to do that just by lifting that crock pot up, but I think this is the better way. So as you can see, that is extremely fluid. I think that's from the extract, probably the glycerin, and saving some of my liquids for after the cook. So I have to go pretty fast, and I'll start up here. Whoop, it's going to be a bit messy. As you can just see, I don't like doing that, but those things happen. I like to fill my molds up as much as I can. And I'll clean them up a bit afterwards. So as you can see, this is how you do it, how I do it, sorry. And you can do it as you want. This looks pretty beautiful. What I'm going to do is finish doing these, and I'll show you the lather off the puck when I get these all done. Thank you. So I'm just going to show you the lather and the color of that from that pine tar, 11% for those ovals. The silk, that mulberry top silk grade AAA, is beyond awesome. It's what an incredible feeling. And the smell that I put in, the almond extract and the lime, can't remember the other two things I put in there, but is beautiful. It doesn't overpower the pine doesn't overpower it, and you can still smell a hint of that almond. So it's been a couple days since I made that, and I just wanted to show you that the foam is a tan, a type of like a light tan, and you can just, I don't know if you can see it dripping off there, but it doesn't stain anything, and the lather is lovely. The feel is phenomenal. The thing about this that I found in using this, I'm sure some of that color will disappear after a while as well, but once you get this done, so you can see that coming off, and say if I were to rinse my hands with that, that is so lovely, but say if I rinse my hands with that, and what's left on there actually comes white. It's really interesting. So I'm loving this pine tar thing, and I just wanted to show you that. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.